Welcome to another episode of Distilling the West. I'm your host, Dan, joined by my co-host, Dave. How you doing over there, Dave?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't know, we're in California. I am hella excited for this interview today.
I am as well. We are joined today by Marko Karakasevic out of Charbay Distillery, Ukiah, California. Welcome to the podcast, Marko.
Hey, thanks, Dan. Hey,
So
thanks,
close,
Dave.
so close.
So close.
I'm hella excited here too. Yeah, you got it. Thanks for having us on board today. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just over the moon that you're joining us today. You know, we always try to do a little research before we do the interview, and my jaw was just hitting the floor with all, your guys' deep family history in distilling, how long you've been in the game, just about as long as I've been alive. So, before we jump into the background of your family and everything like that, can you just introduce yourself and maybe where you were at before, maybe kind of like the middle part of your life? Because I know you were raised in the distillery, but you kind of struck out on your own a little bit. So you want to introduce yourself and talk about that a little bit?
Well, sure, Dan. Yeah, I'm Marko Karakasevic, now the master distiller, 13th generation master distiller here at Charbay. Your question is like to start halfway through my life is like halfway through Charbay, but I started when I was 10. And first job was inside our still, our cognac still, our Chardonnay still, sitting on a bucket and cleaning the roof.
Okay.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So I guess how old were you when you were doing that?
10.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Family business.
Yeah, that was in 83, back in the 80s here up in Mendocino County. And little by little, learned, was in the family, worked with my dad. And then eventually Jenny, my wife, and I took the distillery over. And now my parents are retired. And we've been in business now for 42 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
Six employees. That's it, and it's working.
Yeah, keeping it lean and tight, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like learning under your father like that?
Well, my dad's from Serbia, and his family had been in the spirits business in Serbia since 1751.
Oh, wow.
And so the definition of master distiller in my family has always been the ability to meet and exceed your instructor. So it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your aunt, uncle, mom, dad.
Yeah.
My dad's dad passed away when he was 13.
Okay.
So he was learning with from his uncle and his mom, and he became 12th generation master distiller.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. When he came over to California, made his way over from Michigan over to California via Canada, via Germany, Serbia, when he was 21. We started Charbay, and so I was born in 73, and mom and dad started in 83, and so we the definition was always to meet and exceed your instructor. And then my dad said, and you got to put something else in the market that the family had never released before.
All right.
So, all right, well, you've never made a drop of whiskey. So, I think I see an avenue to go down here, and I like that avenue as well. So,
Nice.
yeah. So my liquid thesis was I would describe it as an eau de vie, but beer based instead of wine based or fruit wine based. So I took a local IPA from Boonville up and over the hill here.
Yeah.
And double distilled it with our Chardonnay cognac still, and then aged it in stainless
Okay.
for 5 years. and basically distilled it as an eau de vie because that shows off the still and the distiller's cuts and the quality of the ingredient used. And there's no oak at all to maybe possibly round out or change the flavor profile from what you just made out of the still. So there's really kind of like no hiding when you're making eau de vie, and then it aged for 5 years, and then bottled it as doubled and twisted. That's my brand.
Okay.
Just like in the middle bottle that you guys have there. But the first version was in a 1 liter jug, and it was crystal clear. And we entered it into the first ever Ultimate Spirits Challenge with Paul Packelt over in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it took highest points of all whiskeys,
Nice.
brown or clear, and because it was so malty and it had just a bunch of really nice hops. And I told my dad, like, hey, we just we took the highest points of any spirit or any whiskey, brown or clear. And he's like, I know it's good. I'm like, hey. I'm just telling you, man, somebody else loves it too. He's like, well, congratulations, you're a goddamn master distiller.
Yeah.
Let's drink something, smoke cigars. I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
So, yeah, it took me 26 years to earn the title, but I
huge.
did. And, Monday I'm distilling some Zinfandel.
Well, hats off to you, because it doesn't sound like, you cut any corners, and you definitely earned your title. You didn't just walk into the position and, oh, I'm automatically a master distiller. So hats off to you on that one.
Yeah, everyone's got their own idea of what that role is. There's no like universal, qualifier for it. So I'm extremely proud of it because I've taken my family's heritage and realized what it was, and then evolved it and added to
That's awesome.
our family's distilling heritage, which I'm really proud of because we make really good products.
For sure, for sure. So I'm curious. You're 13th generation, and so your family, you said, back in Serbia, right?
Yeah.
So what was it that your family was distilling in that first, second, third, 10th generation?
Well, they were making wine, and then they were making grappa with the pomace after it's been pressed. There was no grain available to make beer because all the grain was for feeding the animals,
Mhm.
and there were a lot of plums. So Slivovica plum brandy. There's walnuts from the Carpathian Mountains over there. So we make we call it nostalgie as a black walnut liqueur.
Okay.
That's early on. That's how I learned how to extract color and flavor from fresh fruit. Was by pulling color and flavor out of black walnuts. And I do at times wish I could just use the forklift and drive over those little bastards, but we get to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
But it's super tasty, so I don't mind.
There you go. Yeah, I was gonna ask what carried over from those older traditions, but it sounds like quite a bit.
Oh yeah. We haven't really made much grappa recently. But I just made some more black walnut liqueur nostalgia, like a 40th year anniversary kind of tribute to my mom and dad special package, and it won a double gold and a gold, and it tastes really really good. And we should be making more of this, but it always sneaks up on us because picking walnuts for making liqueurs, it's best to do it right around the summer solstice. And so, and it's always like the hottest day of June, always.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, man. And I'm just not as lean and as I was when I was a kid. And so the trees don't really appreciate me climbing up them and picking walnuts. So we fortunately we have some other people that helped us pick walnuts this time, and it takes about a year to extract all the color and flavor out of the walnuts, and then put it together and make a really nice balanced liqueur.
Yeah, because you're using the green walnuts to make that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're talking about a lot of your family's history, and I kind of feel like we have the roots right here in the glass. And if you want to introduce this pour, the Charbay Brandy number 89.
Yeah. So my dad and I distilled that and then barrel aged it in 350-liter pungeons, French oak, for I think 23 or 24 years.
24.
Can you let our listeners know what a pungeon is?
It's a bigger barrel.
Okay,
So it's
great.
350 liters. So, and then there's 500-liter barrels as pungeons as well. So these are the smaller size. I forget exactly what I love that bottle.
Yeah,
Uh,
great.
I call them 350 pungeons, 350-liter. We use some 500-liter Demtos French oak pungeons as well for barrel aging whiskeys, and some Petit Syrah brandy from 19s in some of that too. I like bigger barrels. It doesn't give off as much oak. It doesn't give off as much color because there's more product in the barrel. So it's not, it does a tremendous barrel. They offer tremendous barrel aging qualities, and that's what I'm looking for, because if you make the cuts right coming off the pipe on the still, then you're not looking for the barrel to be your savior.
Right.
Yeah.
And we actually interviewed Demptos, probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. And
Will?
yeah, it was, and
his daughter.
yeah, his daughter, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now.
But it was a great interview.
Yeah,
for sure.
the two of them were on, and we learned so much about the craft of making a barrel cooperage.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great.
It comes down to a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
On the fire.
Yeah.
And Will is a badass. He still comes up and he'll repair our barrels, even if I didn't even buy them directly from him, but I have them, because I buy used oak and stuff. And he's such a sweetheart, and he is ridiculously knowledgeable about the entire world history of cooperages, and he travels all over the place, meeting with new customers in Mexico and other countries, and love that guy.
Yeah. And he's another one that started, I want to say he started his apprenticeship when he was like 13, if I remember correctly, right around there. So another lifer in the industry.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, and gosh, so back to this brandy, I'm just, I was struck by this being a 24-year-old brandy and how light in color it is. And, you were mentioning those larger barrels. I have to imagine that, you kind of end up with more of that straw color on it.
Yeah.
It's got so many legs. It's got legs for days in the glass. I really like that viscous mouthfeel for sure. And the nose, really opening up with some nice orange and chocolate going on for me. I get a lot of the grape coming through, and that kind of starts to transfer into almost like a raisiny thing going on. Like I said, I did cheat beforehand and have this one night when I was doing some photos for this, and I'm kind of jumping to the end here, but this was like turning chapters in a book. I mean, it just evolves all the way through the pour. And the thing that really struck me was throughout the pour, I was getting that orange, probably the chocolate from the French oak, and like that raisiny thing going on. But with the orange and the fruitiness and the chocolate, the type of the orange and the type of the chocolate notes that I was getting evolved through the pour, where in the beginning of it, it started out as kind of like a fresh orange juice. And then on the mid taste, it was more of the orange peel. And then by the end of it, it was like a candied orange peel. And same with the chocolate. I mean, it was started out kind of more of that raw chocolate bar to me. And then it went to a chocolate ganache. And then by the end of it, it was this beautiful kind of mocha chocolate thing going on. So cheers. This is a exceptionally made craft spirit coming out of the West here, Marko.
Absolutely. That's that's all my dad. I wasn't the master distiller, but I was there working with him on that. I was still 89. Let's see. Where was 89? Yeah, I was in high school. Uh, so um I was just, doing what I was told. And Dave, you asked earlier, what's it like learning from a 12th generation master distiller
Yeah.
who with a very strong organic chemistry background. It's uh it's no joke. Things are just expected to be done.
Yeah.
And we all can solve an equation, maybe possibly many different ways, and come up with the exact same answer. But sometimes that doesn't fly, when you're apprenticing. And
Yeah.
so it was it, it was intense.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I slept on bins. I slept on a couch. My dad had the distilling room, as he should. And it was because he trained me and taught me how to run this Prulot cognac still. How do you run it? You run it 24 hours a day, and you don't stop until the tanks are done.
Yeah.
And you do your last run, which is when you're distilling a tanker of wine or beer. That's about 18 to 20 different runs. They're all about 12 hours apiece. And then, so that means if you don't stop, it's like 10 days, 24 hours a day, just running.
Wow. That's a lot.
But, you know, I distilled a lot in 2019. Well, a lot for me. I lived here, slept in the distillery for like 182 nights. And I have a family, and we have a business that's running, and like 35 distributors and everything. And it was a bit much. But I don't think I'll ever double distill 120,000 gallons of beer myself
Yeah.
with a cognac still. That's 2,500 liters in one year ever again. It's just kind of probably a little bit unhealthy to do again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had a great opportunity and I nailed it. So
There you go.
the result is fantastic. It's in the barrel, and it was well worth it. But geez, man, that was a long year.
Well, you have a dedication to your craft. Now,
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
said kind of spurred a question for me. So we've talked to a lot of distillers, a lot of business owners over the course of the last 3 years here. So it seems like a lot of the distillers are um, either more science than art or more art than science. I know both of those go into distilling. So it sounds like your dad was more science than art. Um, n- Maybe not.
Well, he always explained it. You use science to make less mistakes
Okay.
in the art that you do.
All
You
right.
know, if
I like that.
you you're gonna blow the still out by not degassing, but you do it anyways, and then you just puke the still. That would be a problem. And fortunately, we know with due to experience, and with the science of the art of distilling,
Mhm.
um, really can't afford to make mistakes,
Yeah.
especially if what you're doing. That's a doozy. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Well, I was curious. So are you guys growing any of the grapes that went into your brandy? Or are you sourcing them locally? Obviously, you got a big wine industry all around you.
Yeah, I grew up in the wine industry. My dad was a winemaker for other wineries prior to 1983. I have friends who have wineries, large to small, and so I have friends who have vineyards.
Okay.
So it's let the pros do what the pros
Yeah.
do.
Totally.
know?
Oh, and before we move on to this, which grape varietals is Pinot Noir and Chardonnay or
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
Yep, and that brandy. Okay, man, that was just absolutely fantastic. This is one of my favorite brandies we've tried so far. I mean, and thank you for the generosity. My jaw hit the floor when I saw that 24-year mark on there. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Um, Try and hold on to it. Where are you right now? You're in
We're
California.
yeah, we're in
Yeah.
Chico. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of, we're in a humidish kind of environment right now. Try it if you can in a dry environment and then see what happens to the flavor profile. It totally just kind of it shifts because more of the spice flavors come out with a drier humidity.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Well,
The D&T does that too. All of them do that.
Interesting.
We barrel age in a dry environment, so I don't top very much our barrels, and we lose about 3%, 4% a year. But in a dry environment like this, water is excited to leave the barrel and go into the less dense air. So our alcohol content rises, extracting different flavors and colors from the barrel that have never been able to be extracted before. Because if you're not, if you're a lower proof liquid, you can only extract lower proof liquid things. But then if you go to a higher proof, then you get a little more extraction power due to higher concentration of alcohol and less water. So you pull out different tones and notes.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, you want to introduce our next pour, your baby here?
Hey, doubled and twisted.
Yes.
That's kind of morphed into doubled and twisted's an old liquor term for you're drinking the good stuff because it's double distilled.
Yeah.
There's no comparison between single distilled and double distilled product. It's just uh I really like double distilled.
Yeah.
And when in the beginning there's a lot of moonshiners didn't really have hydrometers, but they could tell on the second pass, and it's right around 160, that the the distillate coming off the pipe out of the still at 160 proof with the gravitational pull of the planet makes the distillate twist like a super tight helix. It's like super tight. I'm like, son of a bitch, there it is. I'm like, click. I took a picture of it with my phone, and that was my original doubled and twisted label.
Yes.
And so then that was part of my liquid thesis. Came up with the whole package too. And then later on, uh Jenny and I were like, well, we want to have a product, that we can have around that's available all the time. So we're thinking about like, what are we going to call this? What are we going to call this? And, it's always like trying to figure it out. It's not working. Like, well, we own Doubled and Twisted, so let's just bring back the Doubled and Twisted. And she said yes. And so now I think it's at lot 3.
Yeah.
Lot 3. So that has 5 different lots in it, ranging from 2011 Stout, Big Bear Black Stout from Bear Republic, 2012 Single Malt, two row malt. It's 2 row malted barley, no hop, single malt whiskey, and then 2013, 2015 IPA whiskey.
Wow.
And then 2015 Czech Pilsner in there too. So there's a lot going on in there. I was like drinking it on the rocks with soda water because it just brings out the flavors. It's super nice. I'm not mixing it with anything else but soda water. So I really like that. I really like tasting spirits on the rocks with soda water these days because it showcases the exact product that that you're pouring.
Yeah. So I got so many questions here. So the first one, why distill with beer? Where'd that decision come
Well,
from?
I was brewing beer in high school and learning and being in a distilling family. Um, and I was making a really cool Czech lager, with bottom fermenting yeast and everything, and Saaz hops and two row malted barley. And, I'm making this beer, and then, I'm looking into distilleries, the United States making whiskey, and they're using two row malted barley. Like, well, should I just use two row malted barley? My beer's got 7.5% alcohol in it. Tastes great,
Yeah.
and their beer, when they put two row malted barley and ferment that, it's probably going to be around 7, 8, 9%, depending on, things. So I was like, well, why can't I just distill this beer and make whiskey out of it? My dad's like, that's not American. That's not California whiskey, and so I'm like, well, I don't know. Kind of makes sense to me, but I was in the 80s. So, it's just on my way, just plugging away after that. And then we got the opportunity actually to grab 24,000 gallons of a truly lagered Czech Pilsner from Sonoma Mountain Brewery, who Benzinger family owned that brewery. Super nice brewery.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, late 80s and 90s. And so in 99, we took four tankers of it, and three or three and a half, something like that. Three tankers, four tankers, and my dad and I were here, 3.5 weeks straight, 24 hours a day, and we banged that out, and that was a Czech Pilsner whiskey,
Okay.
and we
Very
put
cool.
put it in barrel, new oak, because we wanted to have it in new oak so that there was an association with American whiskey, because no one else had been doing Czech Pilsner beer with hops in it that's super spicy, and some people say it smells and tastes like weed. But so we put it in American oak barrels, and so for the association. And so after 2 years, I was quite content with where it had aged for 2 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's ready.
Huh.
And we launched 2 barrels of that Czech Pilsner in 2001,
Okay.
and it was the first hop flavored whiskey, Czech Pilsner whiskey on the market. I mean, we're not the first people in the world ever to distill beer with hops in it,
Right.
but nobody else was making whiskey out of bottle ready beer. And the to really narrow it down to why do that, Dave, is when you're distilling something, you're concentrating the flavors of whatever you're distilling. So if you're distilling delicious, you have the opportunity to concentrate and reduce delicious down to super concentrated, super delicious, 10 to 1 reduction.
Yeah.
If your alcohol is like 6.5 to 1, if it's 13% to 1, then it's like maybe 6 to 1. Like for distilling wine, it's not as concentrated. So for beer, it just made so much sense to me. Any beer is possible in the world,
Yeah.
and it's going to show different. It's going to be a whole nother spirit. Whether what you can call it, distilled from grains and hops, or hop flavored whiskey, or whatever. The TTB says, so be it. But so we did it, and then at the around the same time too, I was sitting at the bars watching what people were drinking. Well, with them too, and there was in Napa Valley there was a lot of wine being consumed, and then if people weren't drinking wine, they were drinking some vodka too. I'm like, well, I want to make vodka. Talk to my dad, like, hey, I want to make vodka. He's like, we don't make vodka in our family. I'm like, oh shit,
I agree with
Okay.
your dad.
He's an artist. He's an artist of flavor,
Yeah.
and he really didn't have any desire to make vodka, but I did. And if he didn't want to if he didn't want to make vodka with flavor because it didn't have flavor in it, then I'm looking at the wall there on the bar, and there's Stoli Orange and Absolute Citron
Yeah.
flavored vodkas. I'm like, well, we're making this badass organically grown Meyer lemon distillate or extract to make a Meyer lemon limoncello because my dad wanted to make limoncello. I'm like, how many people are drinking limoncello these days? I'll tell you, not a whole lot. And you know, let's make Meyer lemon flavored vodka. And now you can't say that our vodka doesn't have flavor in it. So we started backwards in the vodka industry. We started with flavored vodkas, and then eventually then it took off.
Yeah.
It was real. We used the whole fruit, the skins, the seeds, the juice, the acidity, the pulp, the pith, everything, and pull all the flavors out with ACET technology is what I call it. It's the ancient Serbian extraction techniques. And it's awesome. I mean, it works. I mean, we've been doing it now for 27 years. 27 vintages, harvests of fresh fruit in California, Texas too. When we got grapefruit, Rio Stars. But anyways, so I was flying all over the place selling this stuff, and it was going. And then around 2005, more people joined into the flavored vodka world. And I'm like, whoa, I'm feeling the pressure. And so it's time to get home, and it's time to get back into the distillery, start making some whiskey again, because that tasted really good too. And so, unfortunately, that Sonoma Mountain Brewery uh, went. They closed it. They wanted Benzinger wanted to focus on wine. So hey, they make great wine. So I guess it made sense for them. And well, man, what am I gonna do? Because that Czech Pilsner was really good, and well, I do like Racer 5 IPA.
You stole my question. I was going to ask about that one. I heard stories.
And it's like, I'm just gonna call them, and told them what I'm doing, and told them, I'd like to, hopefully, purchase a 203 barrel blend, that you just pump in the tanker, and I buy it just like that. And so I went down and had like a 2-hour tour visit with the Norgros and Peter and Roger, and super nice, super knowledgeable, and the brewery was only like a $500 tanker ride away, like 22 miles away, so it's super close. And so like 2 weeks later, I got my first tanker at Racer 5 IPA, hops and all, gas and all too. Like if it didn't go into the tanker, it would have gone to the bottling line.
Yeah.
So it was fresh. And we have to deal with all that CO2. So that was a learning curve for everybody, for Dad and me, because wines don't hold that much CO2 in solution. So but we learned, and if you forget, and you're you'll know
Yeah.
what happens. But so hopefully nobody forgets and learns out and remembers how to litigate all that CO2, because it boils out a solution probably in around 40°C. You can actually see it coming off of the still. It comes off the off the port where the hydrometers come out. It's like a kind of globs out of the still. It has this thick gas, and it's very flavorful. But un can't capture it, unfortunately. But it's a heads up. It's a heads up that the temperature's rising, and you're degassing. So you just got to go slow, because otherwise, if you blow past that temp with too much heat, then it just comes along with the ride with all the foam and everything, and it just pushes liquid up the alembic, around and through the coils, and comes out like a hot sweet beer, and that's not cool. So you don't need to try and do that like once or twice in your professional career.
Yeah. Is that called burping the still, right?
Puking the still.
Puking the
Yeah.
still, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a question kind of back to that, why do distill the beer? Is part of it the fact that you are running that Prulo alembic still, and you're not distilling on grain? Does that play better to the alembic still?
Uh, it's the type of still that I have.
Yeah, but then the choice to brew the beer was any part of that decision the fact that that was the still you had to run? Or,
No,
oh,
because I'm not set up to be a brewer. I'm not set up to make my own beer and focus on being a whiskey house exclusively. We distill we make wine. Our current release is like a 13 Napa Valley Cab. So we do that as well. You kind of have to know how to do everything and then pick and choose. What are you going to focus on?
gotcha.
And I didn't want to focus on being a brewery because it's a lot of infrastructure, it's a lot of silos, it's a lot of everything, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of people to really make fantastic beer.
I gotcha.
And so working with a microbrewery, if another independent, like Bear Republic back in the day, just made complete sense. Yeah, it's going to be a little more expensive. Well, it's going to be more expensive to receive a tanker of beer, 6,500 gallons. That's 6, 7%, 8% ABV, but
Yeah.
it's done pro, and it just shows up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 22 miles away, you said that's hard to
yeah,
beat.
hard to beat because I'm not going to get the grain prices they are.
Right.
I'm not going to get the yeast prices. I'm not going to get the job done. With at a greater. It's going to cost me more money actually probably to make a 6,500 gallon tanker of beer, let alone multiple tankers of beer.
Right.
Throughout the year.
And it might not come out tasting like Racer 5.
Yeah, and they're like, "Just tell us what you wanna do." And like, "Oh my god, this is, dream come true." So it's like I said earlier, let the pros do what the pros do.
Yeah.
And, it's a program that, really works well because, uh, no brewery would really wanna turn down a tanker
Yeah, easy
blend,
sell.
It's 203 barrels, pump it, done.
Yeah.
What? You don't have to buy a single bottle or a beer cap or a can or an end or a whatever. You just have to get a 2-inch hose and a pump and, ferment and drop it in the tanker, sayonara.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it works.
Cool.
And now I've heard
Great.
stories about how good that Racer 5 Spirit was. What made it so special in your mind?
Well, it's a big West Coast IPA, and so it has plenty of hops, it has
Mhm.
plenty of two-row, and, it has a nice balance, and it's intense, and so when you have that and you're distilling it, it definitely comes through as, "Yep, that's a West Coast IPA," if not for sure, that is a Racer 5 IPA. I mean, if we did Lagunitas, it would probably be a little bit different,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and you have, just a bottle of just the Racer 5 that's, distilled, right?
Yeah, it's called R5 because
R5.
TPP wouldn't let me commingle, words, from a brewery with a distillery. I'm like, "Oh, I can't use Racer 5?" And they're like, "No, you can't." I'm like, "Well, can I call it R5?" And they're, "Yeah, you can." I'm like, "Jesus Christ, thanks." Okay. So it's R5 for Racer 5, and that was, French oak aged. The final release, because they've moved on since then, of the bottled version of just the pure, Racer 5 IPA whiskey, is, the 6th release.
Yeah.
It was 6-year French oak aged, used French oak aged, Racer 5 IPA, and man, I wish I had 1,000,000 gallons of that.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
Wow.
before we get to the end of our glass here, let's get
Yeah.
a little of the tasting notes of the Doubled and Twisted here. This is sitting at, 90 proof. Like you said, lot 3. Um, right away,
So malty.
yeah, it's great. Both the malt and the hops really jump out to me. And those hops are kind of like almost like an apple cidery note, really bright pop to that. And the single malt itself, um, I was curious. You were describing a lot went into this bottle. Were you saying that you brewed an the two row hops and made like kind of a barley wine for that portion, or you had that made as well? Is that what kind of made the American single malt component of this one?
No, I had Bear Republic, ferment 2-row, 100%, no
Okay.
hops,
Gotcha.
and made a two-row barley beer.
Mhm.
And then we distilled that and put that in the barrel, so it's pure
Okay.
two-row single malt whiskey.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, a lot going on, and I really like that kind of the interplay between the earthy maltiness and the bright pop of the hops from the beer. That is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique spirit in the best possible way. You
Thank
really
you.
get that malty. I don't want to say beer flavor, the maltiness from the beer
Yeah, it's
comes
almost
through.
like a steam beer. It's a trip.
Yeah.
If you drink some and have it on the rocks, and then you leave it and go to bed and wake up the next morning and you're cleaning up and you got one of those glasses hanging around with the ice is all diluted and stuff, and you
Yeah.
smell it, it's just like steam beer, 100%. And you try it, you're like, damn, it tastes like beer.
And then kind of the third component that's going on for me, I think, is that new American oak. So I do get a little vanilla component coming into it too.
Well, there's so many different barrels in there. There's Will's Demptos American Oak, Char 3 Missouri White Oak in there. There's French Oak that had Chardonnay in there. And then used whiskey barrels as well. So there's it's a blend of new American, used French oak, pretty much, and then different regimes with those barrels as well. So
Gotcha. Wow, lots
So
going on.
yeah, so speaking of lot, this is lot number 3.
yeah,
As you make the different lots, are you aiming for consistency or are you aiming for something a little bit different in each blend?
it's got to be totally different, Dave. You know, that was a locked down in time when we blended all those different lots together at that year. I forget what year it was. Maybe it was I don't have a bottling date on there, but I think it was maybe 2 years ago,
Okay.
3 years ago. I forget. I'd have to take a look, maybe. And barrels from those lots that we didn't use are aging away, you know, and
Okay.
they're different. So, the next time we do lots based on necessity. So when we're running low with like maybe a pallet left, then it's time to make the next batch, the next lot of doubled and twisted.
I was wondering if you could talk about that Prulo Alembic still a little bit more and what it's like running it. I don't know if you've had much of a chance to run other stills. I know you've been in the family distillery for the whole time, but maybe you can talk to our listeners just a little bit about what it's like running that still.
Yeah, I love it. When the power goes out, um, as long as you still have water pressure, you can run that thing on manual.
Oh wow.
And is that like wood fired manual or
Propane.
propane? Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gotta
Would you mind giving us another little visual tour there?
Yeah, let's see what we can do here. So this is uh this is a new still for us
Okay.
here. 8,000 liter.
Okay.
And that's kind of more column style there, or
You know, when we were designing it, like, let's just put a 6 column and the 6 plate in there just because we've got the tabletop anyways for the condenser. Let's just put one in because now would be the time to do it.
yeah.
You don't want to go back and retro your brand new still. Like, God damn, I should have put a column in there for something, you know. So I just like, let's just do this anyways.
Okay.
But I really like using this, starting to use it to run beer in it to make heads, hearts, and tails.
Okay.
And the hearts it makes is 2,500 liters, and the Prulo takes 2,500 liters. So
Okay.
I'm 1 to 1,
That's
and I double distill, and it doesn't take uh you know 10 days, 24 hours a day
Yeah.
to
Very
do it, which is really nice.
nice.
But running the Prulo uh up to about 3 years ago is the only type of still that I've run. I've run some alambique stills down in Mexico making tequila. That was fun. But the alembic concept is first of all, it's very slow.
Okay.
There's no, I mean, you can have automation if you want, it's just if you want to spend the money on that. Uh, but it gives you, the distiller, the ability to pick and choose what is going to be your finished product, and it's all you,
Yeah.
you know.
Got your
There's
fingerprint on
a
it.
there's a valve for low pressure propane, and then a high pressure propane, and a thermocouple uh up on top of the swan's neck above the alembic, so
Okay.
telling you what your highest point temp is. And I base everything off of that. And once you know what you're looking for, you're just waiting. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you're waiting. And there's it'll just keep running. Like after 10 days straight, 24 hours a day,
Huh.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that's a
the
marathon.
still true though. It's like, what are we doing? We're all warmed up here, let's go. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. All the copper was mined down in Argentina, and then I forget what country it was processed in Europe, and then all the plate copper was brought over to the Prulo manufacturing factory in Cognac, where they hand pounded it. It's like 5 inches thick on the bottom because it's a live flame, just like a copper pot on your stove.
Right.
It's a lot.
Wow.
And it's actually cold riveted. There's the top part of this pot sits on top of the bottom part of the pot, and then they cold rivet. So when they cold riveting, French are really good at it, and they super chill the rivets so they compress even more,
Okay.
and then you pound those in, and then when they get up to temp, they expand, and it's a waterproof, airproof, airtight seal that's not going away.
That's pretty cool.
Uh, so it works really well. So it's just super slow, and there's a lot of places where you could screw up the cuts, but you just have to pay attention and kind of develop your own style of distilling. It's a contact sport for sure. Working with this thing, it's not like you can just like have a log going. Okay, yeah, I need this to be here, this to be here, this to be here, this to be here. Things are evolving. Heads and tails get recycled. We don't dump them down the drain. So what happens when you reuse heads and tails once? Well, you're able to capture flavors from those heads and tails in the next run. And then what happens when you do that again? Well, now you got concentrated heads and tails. And what happens when you do it the 15th time? You know, it's not the same. I mean, if you took the same cuts as you did on the first run, it's going to be, not as good as it should be. So there's there's a lot to learn and a lot to do. But at the same time, there's not a lot to do. It's a trip, but I love it. I'm glad we have one, and I will forever use this one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No,
amazing.
This pro. It gives the distiller the ability to pick and choose and make the body of the distillate. What are you going to do with this product? You're going to barrel age it for 24 years, or you're going to barrel age it for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, no years. What are you going to do with it? And you have the option to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You just move the pipe from that tank to this tank to that tank, and there you go.
That's cool. Now, you mentioned you're running with a pretty lean staff there. Was it a total of 6 or 6 including you?
It's a total of 6 of us, inclusive.
So you as master distiller, where are you getting the help?
Well, Mark, who works with me in production, worked with my dad back in the 80s.
Okay.
And then he joined Charbay in 2000. And then Randy, who's with us in production, um, he started out on the balling line, and then one day he's like, "Hey, you know Steve U. Darby?" I'm like, "Steve U. Darby? Yeah, I went to elementary school with him in Hopland." Like, "Yeah, it's my dad." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ. You gotta be kidding me, man." but he's a badass, and so he's been on board for years as well. And we have a really good team right now. And then we have Johnny Mars, the one and only, a good buddy of ours, who decided to come on board in 14. So it's we've got a good team going right now.
Well, as we're coming into round 3 here, you want to introduce our last spirit. I'm gonna hold back on what I'm spelling here because it's amazing already. But
Well, Charbay rum. We my dad decided, because we were talking about rum, and
Mhm.
so he's like, let's make rum. I'm like, yeah, let's make some rum. And he found a source of sugarcane syrup, not molasses, from Maui
Okay.
and Jamaica. Um, so we fermented sugarcane syrup and then double distilled it with the Chardonnay cognac still back in '03, and then we did it again in '05. And then this particular batch right there that you're drinking is the second time that we made rum.
Okay.
And we dad wanted it. He wanted to sell clear rum, but at the cost of it being the problem with it, is very expensive to make. And at the time, no one was really down for drinking, buying an $85 bottle of clear rum,
Right.
wow,
So we aged it in stainless for 5 years and let all the flavors integrate.
okay,
And then I'm like, okay, Dad, let's put it in some badass French oak barrels that had some Chardonnay in them before,
nice.
and let's barrel age this, and then charge appropriately for it
Yeah.
for all the time. And one day, after 3 years of barrel aging and used French oak Chardonnay field barrels, it's just, oh my God! I'm like, oh my, uh, get that out of the barrel and let's bottle this full barrel strength. And we bottled it all full barrel strength. My mom freaked out. She's like, what are you doing? But it's really good this way. And if you don't drink it like this, if you do drink it like this, it's like drinking it right out of the barrel. And it is fantastic. And I don't even want to sell it anymore because it's really good.
Man.
I want it around. I want it around for my friends and family for the rest of my life. It's a trophy.
Okay, so this has about 8 years on it. You said 5 in the stainless and then 3 in the French oak?
Yeah.
And okay, so it's at 137 proof.
Yes.
And I am just blown away how I can bury my nose in this, and it
Yeah.
does not blow me away from the ethanol. Like,
Yeah.
I'll say it time and time again on this podcast.
Yeah.
I think that is a hallmark of an exceptionally made craft spirit when you got that going on. And
It has so much body, but it's balanced and clean at the same time. And I don't know if you can notice, but the clarity of that in the bottle, is ridiculous. I've zero filtered it, and that's what happens when you double age something, meaning using 2 different media, either barrel first and then stainless, or stainless first and then barrel. That was it, man. It is so brilliantly clean by itself. By doing that, I was very happy with it.
Yeah, there's 0 particulates in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's crystal clear.
and it's changing a lot in the glass. At one point, it was just a really big like maple syrup bomb.
Yep.
That was absolutely amazing. But it's gotten a little bit more refined towards like a baked good. There's
Yeah.
like
Oh, the baking spices of French oak.
yeah,
Show.
yeah. Okay, so it's like sugar and butter and those baking spices coming out that are just absolutely fantastic. And then
Yeah.
kind of towards the end, you do feel a little bit of that heat. I mean, how could you not at 137? But you get more of that flavor and the characteristic of that. I think it's the sugar syrup, the base there coming
You're
in.
tasting the terroir where that sugar cane's grown. It really happens. When you use sugarcane syrup, it's completely different product than blackstrap molasses, which has gypsum in it and is heated up 4 or 5 different times, and sugar's extracted, and it's just super super concentrated. Dark more than caramelized sugar flavors. This is the top note. This is what they harvest on Maui. They take to the refinery, they dejuice it. That would be agricole. They take the juice, flash dehydrate it, pull a vacuum, boil the water out without raising the temp and caramelizing very much.
Okay.
And they boil all the water out, and that turns it into sugarcane syrup.
Okay. Gotcha. I
So
appreciate that detail.
it shows off the cane. It's
for sure.
concentrated cane. It's concentrated agricole 10-to-1 almost. And it is, if you like where it's grown and if you like the taste of the cane, if you like agricole, I think syrup distilling is the way to go.
Man.
Yeah. Now, for me, when I was much younger, I was a sophisticated rum drinker, and I drank Captain Morgan Private Stock, and that was amazingly high quality, good stuff. This is not that. This is flavor that, to me, I got more of like a burnt sugar, like a burnt brown sugar almost, and just that, I don't know, sweet, delicious, all the way through front to back, and the way the mouthfeel and the finish just kind of lingers on your tongue is just a different experience than I don't know, than the normal rums you drink. This is
Well, there
experience.
is the distillation technique is different. The style, the sugar, sugar source is different. The fermentation of that is different. The column stills are different. There's huge differences.
So you're distilling this one over on your new still, or no? So that could be because it is so old. Yeah, this was distilled back in 2005. I was seeing on that label. Okay, so yeah, I had to do
Yep.
the Prulo. Okay.
Yeah, just
Double distilled in a Charente cognac still.
the complexity is just so refreshing. I don't know, refreshing
Yeah.
mentally, but
It
man,
is.
it's delicious.
Thank you. I love it too. I agree. It is it's a standout rum in the world. It you know, I, I'm thinking about I'm gonna start making some more.
We're okay with that.
Yeah.
The first batch we did, we launched it as a clear rum, and it was 100 point rum from a pulpit called Spirits Journal.
Okay.
And then my dad sourced some Tahitian vanilla beans, and so we used some more extra ASET technology and extracted those plump Tahitian vanilla beans, and we made Tahitian vanilla bean rum with the clear Charbay rum. Oh my god, dude, that was like we just we need to bring that back because it was righteous.
And now for clarification, that ASET technique, is that where you run it over with the lift, or
No, that's me being frustrated with the amount of work it takes to extract things the way we do it sometimes. Yeah. Well, it's no forklift involved. It's all
Right.
pure ASET technology.
fantastic?
And yeah, that vanilla bean extract cheese, we should bottle that up too,
Yeah.
Crazy
Definitely.
things that happened.
Well, do you have any challenges, getting it at 137 proof off the Prulo still there?
No.
Okay. How do you achieve that, I guess? Because and maybe this is my lack of knowledge, but running like a double pot still, I'm kind of thinking, isn't it easier to get the lower proof distillate off? Or, yeah, are there any challenges on getting the higher proof distillate off the Prulo still?
The cuts are completely different in distilling rum versus whiskey
Okay.
and brandy. There's a lot of flavors, more in the tails that are exciting that you want to try and capture. The beauty of a lambic pot still is it's a 7 fraction double distillation process. So your first run, what are you making? You're making 25 to 35% ABV distillate in the hearts, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on your base alcohol. That's your ABV. And from there, you've already cut the heads, you've cut the tails out, and you've made the body of what the spirit's going to be in the first run. A lot of people, when they think about when they call it a stripping run, kind of drives me nuts because it's like, really, you're just after the ethanol. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's That's what you want? Really? Okay. Well,
I saw that you were describing it more building the body and the character of the spirit itself.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to screw up a product, you screw it up in the very first run. You know, once it's if it's screwed up in the first run, it's gonna be screwed up in the second run, compounded, concentrated,
Yeah.
double screw up. Ew, not good.
That doesn't have
You-
the same label zing on it, does it, as the double and twisted, does it?
Yeah, double fucked delicious. No, no.
I like you.
Would be a good one though.
You should do that on April Fools, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Ew, limited release, a double fucked and twisted, man.
Yeah, we really messed this one up. You're gonna hate it.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, to answer your question, once you've got those hearts, then you run it through the still again. And with the rectification of an alembic, it'll go up to about 162 proof, on the second pass. But then it's dropping like a rock after, it's going like this and through 12 hours. So then you just got to pick and choose the best part of what you want, and so that's how we're able to achieve that proof, just by using the still for exactly what it's meant to be done, with as a 7 fraction double distillation.
Well, I'm feeling like we're so enthralled here on just getting down to the heart of what you do here, Marko, because we're loving it. And I feel like we're doing a little bit disservice to our 3-round interview format here. So kind of as we're rounding out, I just want to look towards, what does the future hold for Charbay? Do you guys have any kind of new products or R&D stuff that you're working on, or are you just kind of holding, steady as she goes?
Well, times are changing. Times
For
have
sure.
been, they really changed, since the 70s, and the 80s, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, was solid, and now there's changes in people's preferences.
Mhm.
So, I've been wanting to make RTDs for 25 years because I mean I make boat drinks myself, with our products, and it works out great. It's like, God damn, we should bottle this, but it in the 90s it just wasn't the right time,
Right.
because that was when we had a lot of amazing bartenders using like 14 different ingredients and making a complex cocktail, no doubt, but it wasn't boat drink quick, or it was
that.
so n- uh, so the timing wasn't right, and everything in the 70s and 80s that was pre-batch or RTD
Mhm.
was not in vogue. It wasn't cool, didn't taste good,
Right.
and so but ever since COVID came around and stuff, we didn't get to enjoy the benefit of being able to sell retail direct, unfortunately, through that. But it opened it solidified RTDs as another segment of the spirits industry, and there's no going back.
Yeah.
Um, you know so it actually is very exciting because then we get to make not only the pure spirits, but we can make RTDs with our products, and finally I can probably maybe make some boat drinks like I really want to, and then like 5,000 gallons of it and bottle that stuff up. We just got a canning line too for 200 ml cans. Got a Cody 45. Yeah, it's pro. And so all my friends, bartender friends, I'm sitting at the bar, and you're talking, having a good time, and then it's right around like what 7:22 in the afternoon, and all of a sudden the ticker starts going espresso martini, espresso martini,
Yep.
espresso martini, espresso martini. And they're like, oh, actually, then then the espresso machine dies, or they ran out of cold brew or whatever they're using, and or the vodka that they're using ran out, and then their pre-mix is done and everything. I'm like, man, all right, I'm gonna extract espresso, and let's get into this because you know, I just want to help my bartender friends out,
Yeah.
and I want to help my bartenders at home out. And I'm gonna make, an espresso liqueur that then you can use for whatever you want, whatever base alcohol you want to use it with. And that was great and all, but then you run into inconsistencies and pour costs with
Mhm.
different vodkas that you're using, and it starts to look like a sawzall instead of a nice curve. And so I was like, well, okay, fine. Let's just do this. And we took about 2 years to develop an espresso pre-batched cocktail recipe, and it is pro. I mean, the crema,
Awesome.
it lasts for hours, not minutes. I'm not using natural flavor. I'm using real espresso, and it makes a huge difference. And so we just launched our first RTD. Actually, well, our first pre-batch cocktail in a liter, so
Okay.
that any restaurant can take it, or hotel or service bar, and if they have 85 of them that they need to make, I made 85 espresso martinis in 15 minutes with one shaker with my product.
Yeah.
It's just like it's all there.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
cool. You don't have to do anything but put it in a shaker
That's
and
very
shake
cool.
it and strain it. And now we're gonna can the 15% ABV version of it, because it's the diluted version of the pre-batch, because the pre-batch means it needs to be shaken and strained, and it makes
Mhm.
perfect cremas every time. But the RTD version is 15% ABV, which is what happens after you shake it and
Right.
dilute it. And then so that's going in the can probably in about a week
Oh,
or
wow.
so. So
Any idea when that'll be available for consumers?
January.
January?
Hopefully, January, February. Yeah, we're just getting everybody we're getting pictures and still figuring out the case configuration on those little flats and stuff. And canning's new, but I've got a grip on it, I think, and the labeler's dialed in and stuff. So it's super exciting. And then from there, what are we gonna do? It's like, well, we've got some great whiskeys. We have some great local honey like Mendo Gold,
Mhm.
raspberry, and this thistle, star thistle
mhm.
honey. And whiskey and honey go really well together. And hop flavored whiskey with honey, and maybe some Meyer lemon juice from Meyer lemons, because we make Meyer lemon vodka.
Mhm.
So it's pretty exciting times. We're doing really well. Everything that we're doing is clicking and working. We do contract bottling, consulting, and as well as Charbay products. And so our customers, we have our customers, and we're doing that. So pricing's all set up. The vodkas are all dialed in. We had a big change in California with our distributor of like 12 years. We were with RNDC, and then they decided to get out of the state. So it was time. It was forced a mandatory change. So we're working with our distributor that we've worked with in New York for 15 years, and Winebow, and so that we got through that hump. And we import tequila Tapatio, and
Hmm.
it's a great time to be able to be representing and selling an icon in the tequila business. And so Tapatio is doing really well as well. So we're really fortunate, and you know happy that everything is it's just balls out.
Oh, no. That's good to hear. It's good to hear these days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've seen like a lot of your core products available, and then there's been a couple instances where I've seen some
Oh, yeah.
way higher end stuff coming out from you guys. Like I saw Sealbox did a pick with you guys recently, like 150 proof whiskey, and then
Yeah.
I was cruising an auction site the other day, and I'm just cruising through. Tell us about the Black Unicorn. I was struck. I saw that at auction go trending above $1,500 a bottle, and
Wait.
I was like
Really?
I was like,
I was
"Oh my
going to dip
god."
the I got to dip the black wax and put the sparkly in it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So we did that all. Yeah. Well, we've known Linnell forever, and she wanted to do a really cool release, not just with us, but with other micro distilleries and her friends and stuff. So she wanted to create the Black Unicorn program for herself, and then so we were the first distillery that got to bottle for Linnell for the Black Unicorn. Well, that's cool. I didn't know it went up like that. That's
Yeah, I
yep.
was and it was just like a week or 2 ago, we had already
Wow.
set up the interview, and I was just cruising the unicorn auction, it's funny enough, on unicorn auctions, and, yeah, scrolling through, and I was like, "Charbay? Oh my gosh." It's like
Yeah.
$5,200, oh my god, and then
Oh man,
yeah,
that's
then it was cool
crazy.
recently to see you on, Sealbox as
Yep.
well, that looked like
Yeah,
a
the
great piece
seal box
too.
release is super tasty. We have 6 well, we had 6 barrels of hop rod rye from Bear Republic Brewery. So
Yeah.
it was their rye beer that was extremely difficult to make because they didn't have a grist press that, they had a lauter ton. And when you put a lot of rye in a lauter ton, it gums up, turns into concrete if you don't do it right.
Yep.
So it is definitely a passion product for them, and so, we were fortunate enough to get a tanker of that once, and, it worked really well. I'm like, "Hey, can we get another one of those?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that, but damn it, okay." But anyways, yeah, Sealbox, we found that lot, and it's from 2017, and I'm like, you know, these 2 barrels blended together are banging right now. And so Blake's like, well, we don't really do 2 barrel releases, but doesn't mean we can't. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. So that one's we're just waiting for labels to get printed.
Very
It's
cool.
bottled and it's tasty and it's floating right around 150. I think
Yeah.
150.5 or something like that.
Yeah, talk about hazmat now. That's
I
like
had
that.
to I had to change, I had to do it. It's a different class of spirit
Right.
because my hop flavored whiskey formula only goes to 130
Okay.
because when we made that formula back in the day, way back, it wasn't intention to have it over 130 proof. So I've gone back and made more formulas to comply with people. So that's another change that is happening. More and more people are liking full barrel
Yeah.
strength, and that hazmat section. So fine. I I I like bottling it like that. It's kind of fun. So
Nice.
that release is gonna be cool.
Very cool.
Nice. Well, we definitely don't want to leave without, telling our listeners, whether you guys do tours or not, and then where, people can find you both in physical reality and the digital space as well, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. We don't have a tasting room yet. It's one of these things with our California license
Mhm.
that we're an '04 and not a Type 74 because there's several different things are not allowing us to be a 74, so we can't sell retail direct
Okay.
for 42 years. It's completely bullshit, um, but it is what it is. So we do charbay.com. We're in about 32 states, and we have a finder uh, hypertext hyperlink
Yep.
on the charbay.com that you can put in a zip code where you want to find Charbay, and we give you several different options. Or there's a phone number too, so you can talk to us about it. And so that's what we can do because we get to go through 3-tier distribution exclusively.
Yep.
Yeah.
And where can people find you on the socials?
Oh, I know Facebook.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then you're on Instagram too, I believe, at Charbay Distillery,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Instagram, Facebook. I'd have to ask Jenny.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
so yeah, so at Charbay Distillery on Instagram. Perfect.
Yep.
yeah, lately we've been coming home and it's like we've been messing with the espresso. We just well, not but we just released the blood orange mandarin
Oh,
flavored vodka. So I took 25% of the citrus needed for the batch, and I took it out from the blood orange and I added fresh mandarins or cuties
mhm.
to give it a super top note floral, citrus floral, orange citrus floral with the low end of the blood orange, and It's so cool. So we've been making cocktails with that, and I call it my 4+1 bar because I literally like to show off the base spirit that we're doing, and then maybe do a splash of something else. I mean, that's how I make my boat drinks. So I just call it the 4+1 bar, and so Jenny's been filming those, and it's been a lot of fun.
Very cool.
So yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I would say I gotta remember what our Instagram was that a handle
Yep.
is. I gotta get a handle on that one. And
Ba-dutch.
but the charbay.com.
Yeah.
I know that for sure.
Well, cool. You guys are doing such a great job with the spirits. I'm excited to see what you're doing with the RTDs. That espresso one sounds amazing. A great way to start a weekend of football with a nice 15% espresso drink. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, you could do the espresso and the blood orange together and then kind of make a like a Carajillo cocktail
There you
as
go.
well. And then I made bourbon in 19, and the problem was it tasted way too good at 140
Okay.
proof off the pipe, and I'm like, There's no fucking way I'm going to be just diluting this down to 125 or something like that. I don't need all the water tannins. Don't want all the water tannins. We got a ton of body off the pipe. I'm putting it in at 140." And so we barrel aged it, and Jenny was very excited that, we had our version of bourbon, coming up available to sell, because selling bourbon's like selling Chardonnay. It's just like people know what bourbon is. Does it taste good? Oh, it really does taste good. This is good bourbon. The package looks great, pricing's great. Yeah, I'll buy it. Instead of, versus hop flavored whiskeys and all the crazy different spirits that we have to educate and educate and
Right.
educate and educate for. And I told her that day, she wouldn't talk to me for like 3 days. And, oh man, I was like, sorry, we can't call it bourbon. We have to call it whiskey distilled from bourbon mash. And she, it's just not as cool as being able to call it bourbon. So I'm gonna be making a tanker. I'm gonna be ordering a tanker of 52% corn, 48% two row. Like a very low corn
Yep.
and two row barley, and making bourbon. And I'm gonna put it in the barrel at 125 proof. Oh, go.
Well, I'm certainly there for that. And we're not too far from Ukiah. Actually, I did a lot of work out there, so I'm familiar with
Please
Ukiah.
get on 20. Come on over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Get on 20 past Clear Lake and everything. We'll definitely have to make a trip and come see you, Marco.
Yeah, you're totally welcome. I open up the taste. The tasting room is my distillery, so we don't do tastings regularly. So it's like let's figure it out. If the timing works out and you've got time and I've got time, hell yeah, let's make this work. That's the way it is. It's pretty very casual.
Awesome.
great.
Well, it's been great talking to you. Educational, 13th generation family master distiller. Really, I don't know, a force of history here in California and out west. It's really been an honor talking to you. I'm so grateful that you
Right on, Dave.
come on and talk to us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure too. Thanks, Dan. This is a real treat. It's what it's all about. I mean, we're gonna be doing this for the rest of our lives, and I really do appreciate the time.
Yeah, and
Yep.
for our listeners and watchers,
I wish you guys could try some more. We need to do another round.
yeah, we're always welcome for that.
At 3 bottles at a time, we got about we got like we got 5 more episodes to do or something like that.
All right, challenge accepted.
Yep. We're all about it. Yeah, we'll have to circle back with you and do another follow-up episode. We're all about it for sure.
Yes,
And
please.
and like
Oh,
I
that'd be
said,
cool.
maybe even on scene, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I do want to echo what Dave said. I'm just super appreciative both of the products you send, but also your time.
Yeah.
We're over the moon here. We had a great time with all the spirits and just hearing all that deep family history and all that hard work you're putting in over there. We're certainly appreciating it. And that's what we're all about here at Distilling the West, shouting from the mountaintop, putting you guys, we're not putting you on the map. You've already put yourself on the map. We're just echoing to, the masses, go out, try some stuff that's right in your backyard.
Yeah.
And I think Dave wanted to say, if you're out there, tag us in your favorite, Charbay pour, your favorite craft distillery pour. And we really appreciate all of our listeners, tuning in and having some great craft spirits with us.
Yeah.
So cheers, Dave.
Cheers all.
Cheers to you guys, man.